I have the second bread here ready, once that this one finish in the bread machine. But I'm going to make also an extra 2 gluten-free breads. This time I'm going to use my buckwheat fermented recipe. I will use 2 cups of raw buckwheat per bread, and I will leave it to soak for 8 hours. And after that I will just blend the buckwheat with water and leave it to ferment for, depends of the climate, but between 24 and 48 hours before baking it in the oven. I love freshly baked bread, but you know how it works. I find it easier to bake all of the bread for the week in one day, because if not I will be baking bread every 2 days and it takes a lot of time. I usually bake 2 breads, but I like to have extra bread just in case at dinner time we eat like a vegetable soup or something and we would like to have bread. We usually have this one just for breakfast, so that's why I'm making this other one. Now that the holiday season is finally over, I need to make a plan of where I'm going to transplant this tree. The plan is to transplant it in the other side of the land, but because you know that is going to get really tall and big eventually in the future, I would like to be sure that I choose the right location for it, and also I would like to continue transplanting more trees during the next 3-4 months. But I also would like to this year finally have a plan of the watering system that we are going to install, because during the fall winter is not a problem because we have enough rain, but during the first year that they are recently planted, I need to be sure that they have enough water during the summer season if I want them to actually survive the heat and how dry it is. So the next month and a half will be me getting the soil ready and also planning what I'm going to do next in the garden. I'm going also to change the kitchen cloth and wash the one that we already have. I'm going to boil some water just because the dishcloth is really dirty and it has a lot of stains from oil and from cooking in the barbecue. So with boiling water, I have seen that it is much better to remove all these stains. I'm going to tackle a task that is long overdue, and that is to translate this Danish book that I got back on September when I was visiting Copenhagen. It is completely in Danish, and although I can understand some words, I would like to really understand the step by step of the recipes, because everything is gluten-free from my favorite bakery in Copenhagen. And I would like to learn something from people who actually cook gluten-free, just because sometimes you learn some tricks here and there. But before that, I need to find my pencil, which that's another problem that I have. Sometimes I try to be so organized that when I need to find the things that I organize so well, I don't find it. So it should be somewhere there. Hopefully I'm able to find it sooner than later, so I can start translating the book and trying new recipes. It might be here, I'm not sure, because I have all my knitting stuff here, and usually when I follow a pattern I write things on the side so I remember the following days when I continue the project. Unfortunately, it's not here. After all, it ended up being here inside the cabin and not in the workshop, but it was in my knitting bag.
que ya me acuerdo el nombre, ¿vale? Estaban haciendo
¿Fisca?
una sesión organizada.
The second bread is now ready. As you saw, it's really easy. I added 1.5 cups of filtered water per 2 cups of buckwheat. I ended up leaving the buckwheat to soak for the entire night, so it was pretty much 24 hours just because I was really tired at night. If that happens, it's completely fine. And then to the mixture, I add salt and then I blend it. And once that everything is blended is when I add the poppy seeds, and I will just leave it in the oven because it is more cozy than here for 24 hours. If for some reason where you live is really cold, what you can do is to turn the light in the oven on, and it will help in the fermentation process, and that's all. Finally, one day later, after trying to find the pencil and translate some of the recipes, I'm going to do it. I took a look yesterday at a few recipes, and I think I'm going to make one that it's really similar to my cookie recipe because it uses almond flour. It also has chestnut flour, but I'm going to substitute it for just almond. It's going to be this one. The recipe calls for apricots, but I don't have any, so I'm going to use what I have, which is apples. And I don't know if they do anything special to the fruit. I'm going to do it because these past weeks I have been baking them in the wood stove, some apples with vegan butter and cinnamon, and they have been really, really good. So I think that's what I'm going to do for this one. But first, I think I'm going to take a picture of it and translate it directly from the app, and then I will write it on the side so I don't miss any step, just in case. At this point, I think I'm going to even learn Danish because it is not that difficult, at least to understand the basic words like plant, milk, flowers, coconut sugar, stuff like that. Maybe not the explanation, like the actual sentence, but the basic steps is not going to be that hard. Hopefully I learn a little bit so I don't have to translate the entire book.
Creo que le está guardar. Que además está crunchy, tío.
I was missing some of the cypresses that I planted last time. I ended up planting what I had, which was 8 of them, but I needed more in order to cover all of this area. I explained it in the other video, but basically we ended up deciding to plant them here because we are using them as wind barrier and also to protect the cabin and the garden from the heat of the summer, which is super strong after the afternoon. And I was able to get the soil ready. I basically was with my fork working the soil, but ended up realizing that it was full of rocks, so I ended up making a trench instead of just loosening the soil. I made the trench, dig out the bad soil that we had because I want the plants to have a chance. I fill it with some of the compost that I had left, and I got some extra compost as well because I'm planning to do this once and I want this plant to have the best condition that I can give them. So today I will be able to finally finish this task, which was supposed to be the last task of 2023. The idea was to leave around 1 meter between trees, but because they are smaller than what I thought, I'm leaving about half a meter, 80 centimeters in between, and I think that looks much better. I want to give a huge thank you to Squarespace, the platform that helped me to launch my first online business 10 years ago and has helped me with the launch of my farm to table garden guide and online cookbook. If you have been thinking about creating a website to showcase your work, Squarespace is a great place to start. They have a wide range of beautiful and professional looking templates from which you can choose based on your necessities and personal taste. They help you to stand out with a beautiful website thanks to the many different features they offer, such as blogging tools, e-commerce, mailing list, or member areas. With their fluid engine, you can easily customize your website with the new drag and drop technology, making building and updating your website a fun, creative, and easy process. I believe we are living in a time where we all have the chance to put our time and effort into something we are passionate about. And Squarespace offers the tools for a future when everyone can be an entrepreneur. If you would like to start your own website or online store, go to squarespace.com/Eugenia Diaz for a free trial and a 10% off your first order of a website or domain. I will leave all the links in the description box. I look forward to seeing you sharing your unique talents with the rest of the world so we can support one another and grow as a community.